on hand this weekend. I haven't seen any crowd numbers, but trust me, it's a lot of people, and they've had some just tremendous exciting racing all weekend long. In addition to the American Le Mans Series cars, they had Star Mazda, who had Formula BMW, and of course the Champ Car Atlantic race that took place earlier this morning. A couple of Formula BMW races, in fact. So there's been a lot of excitement going on there, and just a tremendous weekend of motor racing. Sebastian Bourdais, he's only got a lead of about a couple of seconds over Robert Dornbos, and interestingly, Sebastian Bourdais actually just turned his best lap of the race so far, but it ranks only 10th overall in the fastest laps in this race.
Which it's a bit baffling, Jim, when you think that he was a second and a half faster than anybody in qualifying, yet he only has a 10th fastest lap in the race. I mean, I know he is leading, and he is actually, he's pretty much on par with Robert Dornbos right now. It's a 2-second gap. It's been pretty consistent, almost identical lap times last time around, but I'm still surprised he's not going a little bit quicker at this point, unless he's just trying to save fuel.
I think he is just trying to save fuel. He wants to make sure he doesn't use too much fuel. You know, we've already talked about the fact it's kind of between a 3 and a 4 stop strategy, and Sebastian Bourdais knows all too well that you can run away and hide at this place, but then if there is a full course caution, you're going to lose that advantage. Let's have a look here at the what is one of the classic classic race courses that's in the whole world, James.
At 4 miles long, this is the longest circuit that we race on. It's a 14-corner track. It's very technical, very long straights. Turn 1, extremely quick. Turn 3, very important to get a good run down into the heavy braking for turn 5. Up the steep hills in the Toyota turn 6. Through the kink at 7, with one of the most famous corners in motorsports, the carousel, and then followed by the kink, where of course Catherine Lake had her huge accident last year. Turn 14, again, very crucial to get down the long straight into turn 1. Tons of passing opportunities, very technical track, and little differences mid-corner make for big gains down that straightaway, so it's very important to get a good lap here. So this is on board with Bruno Junqueira into turn 12, called Canada Corner. I ironically found myself in the gravel trap here in a BMW race 2 years ago, but this is the kink. This is where the bridge was in turn 13, so the completely different visual look. Now, on to turn 14. Get a little bit of curb on the entry, and then lots of curb on the exit. Use every inch of road that you can. This is a very steep hill. The camera really doesn't do it justice. This becomes up to 190 miles an hour down this front straight. Still climbing here, still climbing. Starts to level off. And as Justin Wilson said on his onboard lap, hard on the brakes. They go down to 4th gear. This is a very quick corner. Again, use all the road on the exit. A steep drop downhill. Again, the camera really doesn't capture this. All the way downhill to the apex here. Get back on power. It's all about floating speed, and it's all about early to power, because these Cosworth XFE engines are screaming down these back straights. Some of the highest speeds that we see in the entire year. Now, again, very, very downhill braking, very easy to lock wheels, very easy to get it wrong. The slowest corner on the track, just 60 miles an hour. Then another steep climb up under the Toyota bridge through turn 6. Very low grip corner, very easy to get in too hot and lose the back end here. Coming to corner 7, a little bit of a kink. Slight lift from Bruno, probably in qualifying might be able to get a little bit more out of the car there. Turn 8 now, this is a very important corner for the drivers. It's important to get back to power, because despite the fact there's 3 corners to the next brake zone, it's nearly all flat out. Slight lift through the carousel, incredibly long. The forces that build up on that steering wheel are immense. It gets faster and faster, which means the steering gets heavier and heavier. The kink over 170 miles an hour through that corner. It's just incredible.
That's a corner in my book. It's not a kink.
that is a corner. And then again, hard on the brakes for turn 12, Canada Corner. They've actually widened this corner a little bit. All that black asphalt you saw to the left, that's all new for this year, making it a little bit safer for the drivers, a little bit more room for error, if you will. So that's a lap around, like you say, Jeremy, one of the classic road courses in the world. I think it's one of my favorites in all of North America. It's just such a pleasure to drive in. And as we're seeing this afternoon, it is just great for racing.
Well, absolutely. And all the European rookies in the Champ Car World Series who've had their first experience of it on a race weekend now, they've all tested here earlier in the season. But Robert Dornbos, Tristan Grosmondy, and these other guys, they just love this racer. Neil Jani, who's the other one I was trying to think of. They just already, it is among their very favorite racetracks. And this man, Bruno Junqueira, right from the first time he came here back in 2001 with Target Chip Ganassi Racing, he counted it instantly amongst his, as his favorite racetrack. He won here for Target Chip Ganassi Racing. He also won here for the Newman Haas team a couple of 3 or 4 years ago now, and he's trying to get a top result now for Dale Coyne Racing, but unfortunately he lost ground as a result of that jump start, and he's now fallen back to 12th place. But Bruno still turning some reasonably respectable laps here, and here's another on-board look here at the steering wheel of Bruno Junqueira.
You can see, watch his fingers here as he's flicking the paddle. That's downshifting. He's heading into corner 8 right now. It's a very cool camera. A good look at what happens with the fingers behind the steering wheel there of the drivers. Good look up at Bruno. You can see his head tilting off to the side. He's going through the carousel here. The forces, as I said, on these cars through the carousel, they're doing 125, 130 miles an hour, and it's just at that speed, the amount of grip that these cars generate is just incredible, and then that force gets transferred to your body. It's probably 3.5 Gs through there, so it's an incredible force that these guys have to hold up, and over the course of a 100-minute race, your neck was going to get a little bit tired.
We've had the first retirement of the day. Ryan Diel, unfortunately, still recuperating from that broken collarbone, a right-hand collarbone. He's out of the race, a mechanical problem. 15 laps into the race. We've got 22 laps completed now by the race leader, Sebastian Bourdais. But Ryan Diel, he put on a very good performance this weekend. It's ended early for the Pacific Coast Motorsports team. The young Scotsman, a very sterling effort.
What happened out there?
I mean, honestly, it's things are going really well all weekend. It's kind of lucky just to be back here, but I think Pagenaud got a little overexcited at the start, and that caused our first problem. And I think what we think happened is maybe got a rock in the fuel pump and ended up shutting our fuel pump off. But actually, I think we're the fastest car on the track when we pitted. So I mean, things are looking good. We caught back up to the pack, and we're on blacks. And I think once it cycled through, it'd have been probably running in the top 6. And just unfortunate Pacific Coast. It's can't thank him enough for kind of sticking by me and getting me back here this weekend. So it's bittersweet. Good to be back, and I'm not bleeding too bad.
All right, you're 15 days out of surgery. We know that we'll see you very soon. Back up to you.
Yeah, and Ryan Diel, he's really looking forward to the European swing. Zolder in a couple of weeks' time, then on to Assen 1 week later. And that whole Pacific Coast Motorsports team really come on strong. Is that battle now on track between Jan Halen and Tristan Gomondi there? Gomondi, he had a huge crash at coming the exit of turn 8 by the snap-on bridge. He had that with a huge impact in a test they had here back in June. And he's been recuperating from that ever since, effectively. He suffered some injury to his knees, and he subsequently had a broken rib as well. And after the last race 2 weeks ago in San Jose, Tristan Gomondi had to be lifted out of that PKV racing car by the Champ Car safety team, and he was really struggling there physically at the end of that race.
Man, I just want to touch back on Ryan Diel for a second and really give this guy the credit that he's due. I mean, he is, as Michelle said, 15 days out of surgery, a broken collarbone. And in a race car, you are strapped down. You have 2 3-inch belts going right over your shoulders and collarbone as Graham Rahal dives down the inside of Robert Dornbosch for second place into turn 5. Again, another brilliant pass from the 18-year-old rookie. He is just on fire this afternoon. And now that's, I guess, Dan Clark, the teammate of Robert Dornbosch, is now right on his tail. He'll be looking to try and capitalize on that as well.
Well, indeed. I think Dornbosch there trying to save a little bit of fuel, perhaps. He's had to give up one position now, and Dan Clark closing in as well. And we've seen how much Dan Clark has been on the move in the early stages of this race. He's been aggressive, but he's also been sensible as Dan Clark, and that's not something we've perhaps said too often in the past. He came through for some huge criticism as a result of his early retirement in San Jose last weekend. He had an incident on the very first lap, and then he rammed into the rear of Justin Wilson's car before going back to green flag racing after full course caution. Took Justin out of the race, damaged his nose cone, came in, they put a new nose cone on that car number 4 of Dan Clark. He went back out, and on his first lap and again at a restart, he almost took out his teammate Robert Dornbosch, who incredibly went on to win the race. But Dan Clark certainly did not cover himself with any glory at all in San Jose after what had been a brilliant effort in qualifying to get himself on the second row of the grid. But it all went wrong for Dan Clark in San Jose. And this weekend, he's kind of been low-key up until now, but now, as you said, James, he was on the pole here 1 year ago, had a very strong weekend, and this time in this race right now, he's doing an excellent job.
He really is. He's showing the maturity, and he's showing the speed, and like you said, that's not a combination we can always put together with Dan Clark, but on his day, he really, really is a fantastic racing driver. He's quick, he's aggressive, he's sensible, knows when to make the move, knows when not to. Doing a great job right now, running fourth at Road America.
So it's Sebastian Bourdais who leads here, and there is that battle between the Minardi Team USA cars, and it is
That is Dornbosch. That's Dornbosch.
Dan Clark had got past him there, and Robert Dornbosch misjudged his approach to turn 5.
Okay, let me try and break this one down for you. As you can see, the front wing stuck under the car, under the nose of that car. Dan Clark had got on the power to pass out of corner 3, got a great run. As you can see, he's trying to swerve and get the wing out. That's not going to help. Oh, this is just really unfortunate for one of the championship contenders. So heading down into turn 5, Dan had gotten a great run, had made the pass, had made it so well he got completely past Robert Dornbosch. As Robert Dornbosch runs off,
that's one way of getting rid of the debris.
Yeah, it's one way of doing it. Maybe not to the likes of the guys behind him who are now shattered in carbon fiber bits. So Dan had been completely past him to the point where Robert then pulled back in line to try and get the draft again and just misjudged the braking, Jeremy, and ran right over the back of Dan's car. The question now is whether or not Dan's car is damaged at all. And you can see through the carousel, Robert Dornbosch having to go so slow with no front wing, holding up Jan Halen and Tristan Gomedy, who are racing for position.
And now through the kink there, that's going to be dodgy without a front wing on that car. So that will enable also Alex Figge, who's doing a nice job this afternoon for the Pacific Coast Motorsport team. Give a call for Alex there as he sneaks alongside and he makes the pass. Was it? Yeah, there is Figge going past, and as you can see, Robert Dornbosch. It certainly looked like, I don't think you could pin any blame on that incident between these two Minardi Team USA cars on Dan Clark. It was Robert Dornbosch, I would say, certainly from my first look at it, who made the misjudgment going into that corner. He passed again there by Bruno Junqueira, and now we'll see Robert Dornbosch on pit lane.
I'd love to see a replay of that, just kind of see exactly how it all broke down and the kind of time frame of what happened. But ultimately, Jeremy, yeah, it's one of the things where, you know, the guy, ask any insurance company, the guy who hits from the back, he's pretty much guilty as charged. So Robert Dornbosch is going to come in now, pit for a wing, but this has really ruined his afternoon.
So there is Robert Dornbosch. He brings that car onto pit lane. The guys will go to work.
Just hang out here. Mark, a good long vent will pack and full of fuel nicely. Thank you.
Cameron Steele is
guys, I'm down here in the pit, and you can see frustration in Robert Dornbosch's face, ripping his tear-offs off his helmet and throwing him to the side. They're working on getting the nose cone replaced. And it looks like they took a look at a couple other items on the car. No other damage, it doesn't seem like, but it's taking some time to get this done, and unfortunately a frustrating moment for Dornbosch.
Intense frustration there, and as we saw 2 weeks ago in San Jose, the onus is on the guy behind. In that case, it was Dan Clark. This time, the boot was on the other foot. Is the other Minardi Team USA cars.
Well, you're on setup mode.
A problem for one of the Team Australia cars. That is Will Power, the other championship contender. So Robert Dornbosch just been in the pits, and now an unscheduled pit stop for Will Power. This is exactly what Sebastian Bourdais needs in his quest to win a 4th consecutive championship.
Not only are these guys both out, Sebastian is out in front by quite a margin, although Graham Rahal is running very, very quick, slightly quicker than Sebastian at this point of the race. So Graham Rahal is looking extremely racy, as we've seen, extremely quick, but Sebastian Bourdais is sitting very pretty in the overall championship picture right now.
Oh boy, isn't he just. So problems here.
ECU if you want.
Yeah, so some sort of electrical problem. That was Derek Walker on the radio there saying change the electronic control unit on the cars, the engine management system, and it's just a disaster for Les Shannon and the boys there on that car. But here's again a replay of that accident. You can see there that Robert Dornbosch just left his braking way too late, it looked like, going down into turn 5, James.
It's such an easy trap to get into when Dana had such a good run and managed to get all the way past him. And then here's again a replay of him running off. Of course, the car understeering greatly with a front wing stuck underneath it. Just ask Paul Tracy. He experienced something similar in Toronto this year. So here it is. He just misjudged the braking, tried to go down a little bit too late. And you know, Dan is so lucky his car did not get any damage.
Not even a puncture?
And I can say there's no damage because the last lap that he completed, he was only 1/100th slower than Graham Rahal. So he's still very much on the pace and a few seconds now behind Graham. But this is, again, Dornbosch just trying to get back up to speed. Incredibly lucky for Dan Clark.
Unbelievable, that really was. And certainly, and once again, absolutely no blame would I pin there on Dan Clark. It was clearly this man, Robert Dornbosch, and you can't blame Dan for making a move. Yes, it's Robert Dornbosch who's in contention for the championship, but Dan Clark, they're battling for position still. You're not even, we're just over halfway through the race now. We've got 53 minutes gone, 46 minutes to go, and Cameron Steele is getting ready for a pit stop for this man, Graham Rahal, our 2nd place car for Newman As Lanigan Racing.
The brake.
You can hear John Tzanikis calling him in, and one thing John has been telling Graham.
Neutral, we need neutral. You have it. Okay, watch Timmy. Hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it. Go, 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 go.
And that's John Tzanikis giving him instructions as he's leaving the pit there. We have been hearing that they want him to go hard, but he has been using his push to pass, and they're telling him not to use it anymore. Run hard, but don't use your push to pass. That's what they've been telling him.